Hey, this is Rodney with Rod Shop, and today we're going to be talking about a 2013 Subaru Outback that may have a slipping transmission or it may have multiple problems. So here's the deal with this, and you may have run into this. I mean, it's going to be, I think, starting at 2013 to at least 2016 or 2017. That has a CVT transmission. That means constant velocity transmission. They're garbage. They're pieces of junk. Everybody that is a Subaru owner, you give mixes. I mean, 50% say they're junk, 50% say they would live by them. I hate them because of the way they shift or semi-shift or don't shift or whatever, but when they have problems, they do all sorts of weird things. And if the car has problems, it also does weird things. But the customer brought it to me to ask me why it wouldn't go over 45 miles an hour. So I got in it, took it down the road, and I got to about 40-45 miles an hour, and as I kept pushing the gas pedal, the tachometer would run over to 6 or 7 grand. I did not record it the first time I went out, but I did this several times, almost blew the motor up to make sure that it was the transmission slipping and not something else. And with all that revving it up, it caused another problem. But at the time I wasn't completely aware of it. So I brought it back, I checked a few things out. On this particular model Subaru transmission, it doesn't have a dipstick for transmission fluid. The only way you can check it is to pull a plug on the side and see if you can put your finger in it or if it comes out. And it was full, and there was no sign of leakage anywhere, so the transmission was full. So I thought I'd take it out one more time, and I got myself out into traffic and gave it gas, and the thing almost got me killed. I had cars coming from both sides, and I jumped out into traffic, and it wouldn't go over 20 miles an hour. But it wasn't because it was slipping, it just didn't have any power. So I thought, okay, what's going on here? So I got it, limped up the road, got it back, and then pulled the throttle body because I knew, it seems like lately I've had a rash of dirty throttle body. So I pulled it off, it was pretty easy, and checked it, and it was dirty. It wasn't massively bad, but it was, it was dirty enough to cause problems. So I cleaned it up, seemed to run a whole lot better. But I noticed that sometimes when I would pull back into my driveway with the car, it would lunge a little bit. It would try to rev up on its own and lunge, and just weird things. So after checking a few more times and calling around some shops and stuff, everybody agreed it was slipping transmission because of the way it was revving up. So I farmed it out to a local shop that I trust a whole lot. They're called ProCare. They're in Halls in Knoxville, Tennessee. Great service, great guys, great pricing. I trust them with anything. So I got a transmission delivered to them, and they swapped out the transmission, and it was actually worse than the first one. It slipped even more. Of course, it was hard to find a transmission with. These things are known to last about 10 years, about 120,000 miles, and the transmission I got had 119,000 on it. So that was obviously right there a problem. So, like I said, they swapped the transmission out, checked it out. It slipped from get-go. It slipped from takeoff, and even had a little bit of a noise, and it just didn't feel smooth. So I had to call back, get another transmission delivered, put that one in, and it pulled great. It didn't have any slip to it at all. But then it started bogging. Matter of fact, on the test drive of it, it quit running altogether and wouldn't start back up. So I've learned with this car that you could have engine problems and it causes it not to shift right or perform right, and makes you think the transmission's messed up. But it also can have a slipping transmission. So take a look here. If your Subaru is doing this, So if you're getting that slippage, I mean, you're revving it up and it's not going anywhere, and it'll practically blow the motor up before it even pulls it, that is what they call a belt slip inside the transmission. Now I can't exactly explain how the whole thing's designed. It's really goofy, but it does some sort of expansion, and with a belt, or what seems like a belt inside of it. It also has solenoids that could go bad. Unfortunately, not very many people can work on these Subaru transmissions. The only way you can get a reman transmission is to go to Subaru itself, and that's about $7,000 for reman transmission. That's not including labor, that's just the transmission. So that's why we got a used one from a junkyard. So needless to say, putting the transmission in this Subaru did fix the slip. However, it still had another problem. It was bogging and not wanting to run, and a lot of it was due to the fact that I was revving it up really high and broke some stuff loose in it. So I'll tell you that in the next video what was actually wrong with it. So be sure to look for the next video on clogged exhaust system on a Subaru Outback.